Hey, you guys on YouTube land. This is Jonathan from BroJMR Productions, and by the way, I am here. I'm just behind the camera for the moment. Last time I sat down with you guys to take a look at our collection and some of the individual aspects of it. We talked about steelbooks, which was all right there, and we're going to go back to those shelves eventually. But for right now, I want to move over to this shelf here. Now this is our TV season shelf, and we're gonna talk about some stuff that was on it here for a minute. So excuse me while I get this set up. Boom. All right, how you guys doing today? So today Michael had a good idea that I could talk about complete TV seasons. And so I thought that we would do that. Now, as I showed you, we have a lot of stuff on our TV shelf. You can see it here. We have a lot of complete seasons of different things. And I'm going to be talking about those. But for this one, I'm going to focus on just these. Not a whole lot. And I'm going to explain why it's not a whole lot. Now, what these are TV seasons that we have that were one-offs. In other words, they were one season and then the show got canceled. They were never able to have any more than that. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. We have 8 here. We're going to go through. So this is going to be a short video. It's not going to be long like the Steelbook video. I do apologize for that one. I tried to keep it as short as possible. I'm going to do this one, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff, some other complete series, special edition series that we have that aren't quite complete yet, stuff like that. Just going to kind of go through this shelf and see what we got. So let's start with these. Now, these are not all. I can think of a couple more personally that we have not bought yet that were one-offs that were canceled before their time. There were some rough ones out there. Alcatraz was canceled after one season. That was a pretty good show. Terra Nova was a very good show, very enjoyable, canceled after one season. Constantine was canceled after one season. I'm still kind of holding on to hope that the CW is going to try to grab that one up eventually. I really hope that that happens. And one of the biggest ones, Playboy Club. Playboy Club was a really interesting idea, canceled after one season. Now there are some older ones too, but those are just ones in recent memory that I can think of. So let's start off with Birds of Prey. This was a very, very sad one. And actually, I just thought of another one, so I'm just going to grab it and throw it down here in the pile. You didn't see that, don't worry about it. Birds of Prey was a really interesting show. This was a darker take on a live-action comic book show before CW came along, or Gotham, or any of those other ones. This was a different take on it. It was very 90s, but at the same time it had a good feel to it. It had a really interesting feel. And it was about characters that people didn't quite know at the time. You know, outside of comic book readers. People weren't really sure who the Birds of Prey were. And this was Dinah Lance, this was Barbara Gordon, and Helena, sorry, I got blanked for a sec. And she's the main character, Helena. She is the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, Helena Kyle. It had Barbara Gordon in it. Barbara Gordon is Oracle, not Batgirl, although she used to be Batgirl. Dinah Lance is in it as the Black Canary. Dr. Harleen Quinzel is in this as Harley Quinn, and she's fantastic. You know, there was a lot of really good stuff in here. Very interesting. It talked about metahumans, and it was just fantastic. I don't think it should have been canceled. I think it should have kept on going, but it was a time where a comic book show was not going to last. We weren't in this boom yet, although this was a good start. This was, you know, the only comic book show that had been out before this was The Flash, and we're going to talk about that next. This also had Shamar Moore in it from Criminal Minds, before anybody really knew who he was. So there's that. If you like comic book and comic book stories at all, I highly recommend checking this one out. It's really a very good show. It's very 90s. It has a very Buffy the Vampire type feel to it, but it's great. And the next one is actually The Flash, the original one, with John Wesley Shipp in it. This is from the 90s. I'm not going to say it's good. The new show is a much better show in general, but this also had some very good stuff in it. It was one season, got canceled. Ratings were just awful, but John Wesley Shipp did a very good job as Flash, and Mark Hamill's in this as the Trickster. Fantastic. First time anybody really got to see him play a villain. He then went on to voice the Joker for a long time. But yeah, this is the Barry Allen Flash, which is what follows in the new show, and it's really cool because John Wesley Shipp actually plays his dad in the new show, which I think is just fantastic. So there's some good stuff in it. It's a pretty decent show. If you find it for cheap, recommend picking it up. Clerks, Uncensored, the animated series. I think that there were like 12 episodes on here, I think. I don't know. I actually have not watched these yet. Oh no, it's only 6. Only 6 episodes. They had planned on it being more. They had planned on doing short seasons of this, but it just didn't pan out. Nobody watched it. Kevin Smith is he's meant to do movies. He's not meant to really do TV. His sense of humor doesn't translate well. Michael loves this because he's a huge Kevin Smith fan, and he says they're hilarious. I haven't watched them yet, so it's actually very hard to find. So we got lucky to be able to find this to pick it up. What else we got? Pamela Anderson, Stacked. And you're probably wondering, what the fuck is this? This was a comedy that I believe they aired this on like NBC, maybe Fox, I don't remember. Pamela Anderson plays basically just a hot girl, and I'm sorry, there's more to her character than that, but in the beginning she's just a hot girl. They don't talk about what she does for a living or anything. Who gets a job working at a bookstore run by 2 brothers. Now, in a lot of ways, this is kind of an Americanized version of Black Books, just with a hot, lady, big boob blonde in it. Black Books is a British show that was aired on NBC aired on BBC about a pair of brothers who own a bookshop called Black Books, and it's actually a very, very funny show with some serious drama in it. That was just fantastic. I've seen a decent amount of that show. I really hope that they eventually release that one, and so I can find it. This is kind of almost an Americanized version of it, but it's a very funny show. I highly recommend it. Pamela Anderson is hilarious in it. Christopher Lloyd is in it, and he is just, will kill you. Oh, his jokes just kill you. He's so funny. Highly recommend it if you can find it. This one it was only 14 episodes, so it wasn't terribly long. 19, sorry. There was they actually put the 5 unaired episodes on here.